this is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a little look at Nightmare Cathedral, which is in GameFound right now. The link is in the description if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
Nightmare Cathedral is a new game from Board and Dice. It is a pretty interesting project because it's based on art.
Yes.
By an artist.
Yes.
Who makes pretty dark and bleak artwork.
It's kind of super cool.
It
I
is
love
very,
his artwork.
very cool. Yeah, it's
and I would never known about his artwork if it wasn't for this game. So I really think it's a cool concept.
Yes, this is very interesting, and it's a game. Let's talk about the game because the artwork is cool. You will see some pictures. Everything you see is, of course,
it's amazing.
Prototype components. So if you see something that is broken off or stuff like that, it's because it's prototype components.
Yes.
Because something like that happened because it is prototype components. I wonder, why did it happen?
It might be because it's a prototype component.
Ah, okay. I didn't think about that.
I don't know.
Nightmare Cathedral is a action selection hybrid Euro conflict game, kind of. With stuff in it. It's very hard. I feel like this is one of those games that it's kind of hard to explain the genre of the game. It feels like a Euro game, but it also feels like an attacking game. It has some luck to it. It has a little bit of everything. So I'm going to try to talk a bit about it. And not just say words, or it's going to be just words, but also pictures that you will see of the game. So very, very quickly, how you play the game. I know John Gets Games already made like a learn to play while you're playing video for it. The Brothers Smurf did a playthrough. So you can go and check those out as well to know more about the gameplay. But what you do is that you're going to have like a little character. He doesn't look nice. He's like bad looking. And you will choose an action. And you're going to have like there's 5 different actions to choose from. You will have actions cards in front of you. In the beginning, everybody's going to have basic action cards. And you can upgrade them throughout the game. It will make your actions look different than the other player's actions, which is a neat mechanism. You will choose an action. And you can never choose an action which is adjacent to an action you chose last time. So every time you do an action, you will be moved into a night space, which is set, and then that night space is going to be adjacent to a couple of actions, and you cannot do them the next time, even though that's probably going to be the action that you most of the time want to do. And then after you do your action, then the other players get to follow your action, and they can do different actions depending on if they are adjacent to the place where you are or not. So you are going to do things on all the players' turns, but you're only going to choose the action every time it's your turn. The actions that you can do is you can summon these little followers to the board. You can get fortresses, which will give you control over areas. You can play cards, which are some cards have special abilities, like a one-off, like instant thing. Others upgrade the other actions, as I already said. And you can move on the ritual track. There's 5 different actions you can choose from. And you're basically gonna do that. And most of the game, like when I taught this game, it was kind of like, everything makes sense, but how do you get points? Because you do all of these things, like you feel, this is, when you start learning it, you're going to be like, this is an area majority game. And then it's going to be like, but there's no points for owning any areas. Kind of. There is kind of scoring for that, because you get scoring for the fortresses at the end of the game if you have developed them high enough. But it's a very weird game in that, because it's not really a game where you're going to be like, my strategy is going to be to take over this part of the map and then score the points for that area. No, because you score most of the points from dream cards. And how does those work?
You have always 2 dream cards
most
that
of the
you
time,
can
2.
score. And you can see like, this I want to go for, or this is quite difficult to do for me right now. And you can choose to play the cards if you meet the criteria. Or you can also change them out with other dream cards if you think, I'm not gonna get to do this. So you want to have like either complete them fast or get them out of your hand, because they're quite different. So sometimes you can get lucky with them, sometimes you can get unlucky with them, but you want to score points from those cards.
Yes, and most of the points in the game come from those cards. Like there are, like I would say maybe, I don't know, but like maybe half of the points at least are going to come from that card. Depending on if you are playing like 16 billions of them in one game.
But that might be like have control 4 areas adjacent to the cathedral.
You will see the cathedral on the screen.
Have 3 level 3 towers, for example.
Yeah, so those are kind of mini goals. So in many games you get this kind of, end game goal scoring. Here it is more of these like tactical small goals that you want to reach. So this game, I will say, is very tactical.
Yes, I agree.
Like you will have these 2 small goals in your hand, and the rule book is saying like, if you think you cannot do this in the next 3 turns, then you should get rid of it and don't try to do it. So you get 2 at the beginning of the game, and if those both are horrible, then you can just change them off the first round.
Yes.
So it's kind of feels like an open draft-ish thing. Of course, you could also get 2, and like you did last time, you could then, I can resolve this in the first turn already.
I like that when you choose new dream cards, there are 3 that are visible.
Yes.
So you can kind of plan to see like, this might be really good for me. I hope that nobody picks that on their turn, and then I can be like, and then I know that I have an easy card to fulfill. Or if that's not your cup of tea, then you can try to draw random cards.
If you don't want an easy card to fulfill, then you can draw random cards instead. That sounds like a bad strategy.
Yes,
and it's like, no, that's too easy for me.
Meant.
I know. It's just a
you
little...
kind of got what I meant.
A little jokey. That's what we do on this channel. It's a jokey channel. But it's not like a prank channel. We're gonna start doing pranks on each other. We will get millions of subscribers.
Yeah, or gaming pranking.
Yay! Oh no, it's a fish in the game. No, let's go back to Nightmare Cathedral.
It's a fish. That's the prank that you came up with. It's a fish in the game.
The game is kind of 2 parts. The first part of the game, you're gonna just build up and get your followers out there. You can also like move into other players or the shadows, which are the neutral player, and do conflicts with them, because many of the dream cards give you points for doing conflicts, and that also feels very weird in this game, because most is like, I'm gonna do this conflict and I get 2 points, but here's like, do a conflict. And
you might get an advantage.
If you win against the shadows, you will get like some bonuses.
That's true.
But if I attack you, there's really no reason for me to do that, except if I have a dream that says I should do that. So that kind of makes it...
Well, no. You want to attack other players so they cannot use their meeples for other stuff that you want to use them for. You want to have guys on the map, even though it isn't like a clean area majority equals points game. Dudes are important.
This is not a strategy guide video. Because
Dudes
I
are
said,
important.
I said like my horrible advice, basically saying like, this is not a game where you do this. I don't know, because I haven't played the game 60,000 times.
Yeah.
But basically halfway through the game, kind of, or like a third through the games, depending on how fast or slow you play, you will have built this Nightmare Cathedral that looks like this again on the board. And when you play the basic game, which is the one we had the rules for, this is just going to get built by itself. And when that's done, then there's going to be nightmares coming in, and they can look like this, or they can look like this. And you're going to play with 2 nightmares.
Really cool.
2 nightmares. This even have a mouth. You can play with 2 nightmares each time you play, and then people can start, because you get new cards in the game that have different abilities, and you can start commanding these nightmares, moving them around, eating followers, devouring them, and that is one of the ways the game can end. So I feel like the game become kind of meaner in the other half of the game. Do you agree?
Kinda. It feels like in the first half, as you said, you're building up.
Yeah.
You can also then, because one of the things that you can do with all your people is that you can spend them from your board to go up on this ritual track, which gives you points and sometimes some bonuses.
Yeah.
And when you come to the commanding of the nightmares, some of them that we have played with had also, they go around and devour people. That is a cool thing in itself. It's nice to be devoured, because then you get to be a part of a majority scoring at the end of the game, but it's sad to be devoured, because then you don't get to use your meeples for other stuff.
They're not meeples.
Yeah. Your followers
yes,
is
it's
the
actually,
word.
That's what I call.
That's what they
and
are
I just
called.
want to, but you have seen the pictures. They don't look like meeples.
No,
because that would look very
I'm
weird
just
in
saying
this game.
dudes and meeples because
I know.
that's my board game
It's
lingo.
jokey. It's jokey time.
But some of those special ability also makes you go up on the ritual track, depending on which kind of followers or shadows the nightmare devours. So, but it feels very tactical. But then at the end of the game, it might look very empty on the board.
Oh yeah.
If people have commanded a lot of nightmares and just
Absolutely.
eaten everything in their way. Yeah.
So let's briefly talk like it is a very tactical game.
Yes.
Which means it also has some luck in it.
It is.
Because you will be drawing lots of cards. I feel like the drawing from the card deck, like the one you have in your hand, is not that lucky because you mostly going to be drawing kind of many cards. So you could get like super lucky and get many cards that gives you something you need, and other times
and
you
I
won't.
love the
multi-use cards.
Multi-use card, thank you. Because you can play the cards in your play card action and get the ability, or you can use them for combat.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's also good. So when you get a card that you don't want to use, you can spend it for conflicts.
Yes.
Which also the conflicts are really nice here. Feel kind of like a Blood Rage or kind of like that, where you play cards, you flip them, and then you count up the symbols. In this one, there's no abilities in the combat, so it's like, oh, I have a block and you have an attack, those negates, and you see if somebody gets actually killed. So I think like conflicts here are good. I feel like, for me personally, I enjoyed the game. I liked it more than I thought. Like, I didn't know too much about it. When I read the rules, I was like, okay, this looks interesting, and the game looks so cool, so I just wanted to play it. I think that if you are a Care Bear, like usually like we are, it might be a bit too direct conflict, I feel like, for me.
I don't mind at all.
No, that's kind of weird, because you are usually way more than me in that thing. And I mind less than I do in many games. So just so you know that, like, if you know our styles, you know that we usually do not like that. So that the fact that we don't mind it here is a positive thing, kind of, if you are like us.
To sum it up, there's some things that I like and there's some things that I dislike.
Yep.
The things that I like is how it feels kind of unique, because it isn't this area majority, I'm gonna control this and then I get points. You can use your dudes for things that you want to, if you want to, or you can, that doesn't make any sense. But it feels different and fresh.
Yep.
Also the way that you choose your actions and then block off your, like...
the next action.
Yes, you have to plan a few steps ahead for that to work.
Yeah.
And also how that combines with utilizing the cards on your hand. What I don't like about this game is the element of luck, because it is an element of luck.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel it's a little too luck-based. I feel like both of the losing parties in the games that we have played have had more disadvantages for especially the dream cards.
Yeah.
The person that has lost has been the people that didn't complete the most dreams.
That is true.
And that might be because you have less ability to score those dream cards if you don't have presence or stuff going on other places on the map and on the board and in the game. But overall, it seems like a factor to me. I don't know how much that will swing, but that is, if you are a little negative to luck, that might be a problem for you.
I basically agree with everything you just said. Like, I enjoy the action selection mechanism. I enjoy very much how the game looks.
Yes,
the artwork is amazing. Everything
good.
looks so good. I enjoy my time playing it. I think, like, if you like the more conflict-based Euro games, or if you are a Ameritrash, I'm hating that word, sorry, a conflict gamer, and you want to look more into Euro games, I think this is going to be a great way to segue into that. Like, it is a strategy game in that way, but you have that conflict still.
But I think also if you're looking for, like, oh, I'm a conflict guy, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna trash this might not give you this satisfaction that you want. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't gone that route myself because I'm a Care Bear person.
I think that it will feel different because
Yeah,
it's not like,
that's
oh,
true.
I killed you, I got 2 points.
That's
It
true.
feels, and that is like the most interesting part about this game is that like, oh, how does this work?
Yeah.
And why are you doing these things? And then it makes sense when you play and you get into it. So I think that the game is absolutely very interesting. For me personally, I did like it. I did not love it. But that's because of those things that we have already talked about. So I hope that this information gave you enough to be able to see if this might be something for you.
Yes.
If it is, you can check it out on GameFound. If it's not, then there's other campaigns and other games that you can check out as well.
Yes.
Or you can just go to your friendly local game store and pick up a game that's already in retail.
That's true.
So a lot of choices, many great games to play, loads of games out there for everyone. And that is the end of this little preview for Nightmare Cathedral.
Yes.
If you are still here and you have not subscribed,
you can do so by clicking the button down below. You can also click the bell button to get notifications when we post new videos. It's fun and it's free and it makes us happy, like this. And if you want to do something that's not free, you can.
Go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us there. If you have the money to spare and you think what we do is fun and interesting and maybe you get something out of it. Maybe you even didn't buy a game and we did, so you didn't use your money.
Then you can give it to us
instead.
I don't know.
But
Magic.
yeah, it helps us run the channel and get new games and go to conventions and get equipment and stuff like that. So that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.